Spheal is my favorite Pokemon. I love how round he is, I love how his method of transportation is roll, and most importantly, I love how chill he is. What's shocking to me is that not everyone shares the same philosophy as me. There are some who do not believe that Spheal is the greatest Pokemon of all time, and I respect that. To a point. You see, from watching many playthroughs and challenge runs such as Nuzlocke, I've noticed that Spheal is barely used in any playthroughs. And I mean barely. Spheal itself sees close to no usage as is usually not obtainable until the late game. Even in many ROM hacks, the snow areas tend to be later. Wall Rain is only used for niche purposes, and as much as I love Celio, by the time he catches Spheal, you usually skip his evolution right to Wall Rain. Even in my own playthroughs, I ended up underusing him, and I wanted to change that and put some respect on my boy. I came upon a certain YouTube video where a Nuzlocke was attempted with only Spheals. As much as I enjoyed it, there were no level caps as he was easily 13 levels ahead of the champion and was able to just brute force it. It felt like an insult. Was Spheal not strong enough to do the challenge properly? Not in my eyes. So in an attempt to prove my doubts wrong, I decided to try what I call a Sphealocke. There are 3 simple rules. I will start the game with 6 Spheals. I'm not allowed to overlevel any of them past the next gym leader's ace, and if a Spheal dies, it's gone forever. And seeing as I only have 6 Spheals, I have to take very good care of them. Of course, all the mini Nuzlocke rules apply, like set mode for battling and nicknaming, and if all the Spheals do die, my run and my dream is over. I'll be doing the playthrough in Omega Ruby, and while Team Magma is a good matchup into my Spheals, you will soon see that this game has a lot of strong opposition against them. My name is Waterbird, and I drive a 2023 Chevrolet Camaro. This is the story of how I attempted to complete a Nuzlocke using only the best Pokemon of all time. Let's get right into it. Our Spheals begin their journey by saving the professor from a puny Poochyena, and then meet our rival on Route 103. His level 5 Torchic stands no chance against Asterion and the gang, but his teams will only get stronger from here. The Spheals ravage through the first 2 routes and navigate through Petalburg Forest with ease, taking out the single Magma Grunt with 2 water guns. Outside of the forest, we battle 2 twins, and luckily for us, Spheal learns Patter's Snow at level 1, so we can spam that to take them out quickly as it hits both their Pokemon. We then charge into Rustboro City after demolishing everything in our path, ready to take on Roxanne. I enter her gym, and after immediately being greeted by her, I'm reminded that she's a rock-type gym leader. While our Spheals have water moves that are super effective against her, they're also weak to rock in return, which can make this a little tricky. Roxanne leads her Geodude against Lucina, and I go for a water gun that breaks his sturdy. Geodude takes half her HP from a Rock Tomb, which also dropped her speed, and then heals up with a potion. But the potion was not enough to bring him to full HP, so Lucina's water gun takes him out. Her second Pokemon Nosepest comes in, so I switch to Herta, as he can kill Lucina even without a crit, and we take a low damage tackle and switch him. The AI in this game is weird sometimes, as it should have gone for a Rock Tomb, but I'll take it. Herta uses a water gun, which takes the Nosepest down to a little above half, showing its bulk, and we get hit by a second Rock Tomb in return, bringing us to yellow. I switch to Ari, who gets hit by a tackle, and shoot Nosepest with another water gun that brings him down a good amount. Ari gets brought down to yellow as well by a Rock Tomb like the other Spheals, but I decide to stay in as he's been using Tackle right after each Rock Tomb. I turn out to be correct as Tackle hits Ari, and her water gun finishes off the Nosepest, so winning us our first badge. A great start to the run, but I don't get too optimistic yet, as you may know the next 2 gym leaders aren't exactly going to be pleasing for our Spheals either. Despite this, we march on. I exit the gym and chase down a Magma Grunt, who robbed a man in a lab coat, and we corner him in a cave and defeat his Poochyena to get the Devon parts. With these, we're told to go give a letter to a man named Steven, and our 10-year-old self agrees as we go on a boat alone through the middle of the ocean with an old man. Totally normal. Thankfully, we make it to Dewford Fine, where we can go into the next gym right away to test our Spheal's might. They'll have to use all their strength as we're up against the fighting type gym leader Brawly, which is a type that's super effective in this Spheal once again, but unlike Roxanne, our Spheals have no moves that are good into fighting types. This makes the battle much harder, and while I have a plan, it can go wrong at any moment. We walk up to Brawly and we start the battle. I lead Lucina against his Machop, and we watch as Machop bulks up right away. This is exactly what I wanted, as I use an Encore into him to lock him into bulk up so he can't attack us. Bulk up only raises his defense and attack, so it doesn't matter as long as I can kill him with a water gun, which is a special attack before he can hit me. I use a water gun the next turn, taking a quarter of his health, and the next one barely doesn't kill him as he stays alive on red. The Machop's Encore ends, and I quickly click water gun as I'm faster, but he uses a super potion which brings him to full HP. The water gun brings him back down to around 75% health, and I can safely Encore him again right back into bulk up as he didn't use any other move. With this Encore up, 2 more water guns finally kill the Machop. Brawly's Makuhita enters and my water gun chips him down, and I smile when the Makuhita bulks up right after, just like the Machop did. My water gun moved first, meaning I'm faster, so I can click Encore and lock him into bulk up exactly like I did with Machop. And with him now Encored, 2 more water guns destroy this Makuhita, granting us the second badge without taking a single hit. Thank you Brawly for loving the move bulk up so much because I could have gotten so much worse for my Spheals. Right after brawling Brawly, I head up the island and we go into a dark cave where we hand Steven the letter and learn about Primal Groudon. With that done, we're up to Sleepport to deliver those Steven parts from earlier. The Spheals avoid all contact on the beach as we head up the port and we clear out the museum from Team Magma, which only took us beating 2 grunts and getting yelled at by Archie. With that done, we run out the city for now to Route 110, which is in my opinion one of the most iconic routes of Hoenn. This is majorly due to the fact that we meet our rival once again and his team is much stronger. And this is largely because somewhere between our first encounter with him and now, our rival decided to go to the middle of the ocean and fish up a giant whale that resists both water and ice, and it has more HP than anything else we have to fight until Norman's slacking. This monstrosity is named Wheelmere, and our rival now also has a Shroomish alongside his evolved starter Combusken. Our Spheals prep for the dangerous battle when we walk up to a rival who's way too happy for my liking. I lead Roxas into his Wheelmere and he shoots an Astonish at us, which makes Roxas flinch. I go for an Encore, but Wheelmere, who's faster than all of my Spheals, moves first and uses another Astonish, which flinches Roxas again. The third turn I avoid a flinch and we Encore him into the Astonish, and the next turn avoid the flinch again and start chipping the Wheelmere with Brine. 3 Brines bring him down to yellow while he forced us to eat our Oranberry with his Astonishes, and I decide to switch in Ari after his Encore ends. The Wheelmere then uses a Whirlpool and I Encore him into it and then take him down to red with Brine. And finally, after Wheelmere gets Ari to eat her Oranberry from all the Whirlpools, we kill him with one last Brine. After the Goliath is down, our rival sends in Shroomish and I switch to Herto, who gets leech seeded on switching. Shroomish then stun spores us and I Encore him into it, and then get paralyzed next turn as I try to go for a Powder Snow. The following turn my Powder Snow does hit, but the Shroomish is healing so much from the leech seed that it barely did anything despite being super effective. I switch to Phoenix right to get this leech seed off, and he avoids the paralysis on switching. We do get leech seeded again, but the Powder Snow brings him down to yellow even with the heal from the leech seed. Shroomish then misses another stun spore, and we take him out with one last Powder Snow, bringing in our rival's Ace Combusken. He goes for a sand attack, lowering Phoenix's accuracy, and of course my Brine misses because of it. I switch to Lucina to get the leech seed off, and she gets hit by a sand attack as well. Combusken attacks with a peck, which does laughable damage, and Lucina hits a huge Brine, bringing him down to yellow. All I need is one more Brine to hit and we'll win this long battle. He uses another peck which still leaves us in the green, and Lucina's Brine misses. Combusken hits us with a third peck, which now brings us down to yellow, and I get annoyed as Lucina misses yet another Brine. I click Brine again and my eyes widen as Combusken changes his attack from the peck he's been spamming to double kick, and the fighting type move hits twice, killing Lucina. This is awful. Brine has 100% accuracy and was lowered by one sand attack, so I assumed it would just hit, and I completely forgot about the double kick. Phoenix does come in and finish the bird off with his own Brine, but the damage is done. We lost Lucina, one of our 6 Spheals that I was supposed to protect. I already don't know if it's possible to beat this game with only 6 Spheals, but now we only have 5, and we get 2 gym badges to our name. I apologize to Lucina for letting her down so early, but it's not just over yet, as our 5 Spheals are determined to avenge her. So despite this huge loss, we're not giving up just yet. We march onto the city of Mauville and prove to Wally's uncle that he's indeed right about Wally not being able to challenge a gym, as our now angry Spheals demolish him. They move out of the way of the gym, granting us passage to what I think might be just one, if not the hardest fight in the game for us. Watson is the electric type gym leader, which is now the 3rd leader in a row that has a full team of Pokemon that are all an awful type to fight against. But somehow, electric being super effective against us isn't the worst thing about his team. It's the RNG. His Magnemite has Thunder Wave and his Ace Magneton has Supersonic, and they will always try to go for them, which can cause us to get paralyzed or confused, and a bad confuse can easily make us all die to their Volt Switches. But unironically, I think my only chance of beating him is to abuse these random moves and then pray. I lead Roxas into Magnemite and start off by shooting a Brine, which takes him down to yellow. The Magnemite Thunder Waves in return, but I brought a Cherry Berry which gets rid of the paralysis. I use another Brine first as I'm faster, and we get a very quick kill on Magnemite. Voltorb enters and I know he's faster, so I decide to take a calculated risk and click Encore, and it works out perfectly as he uses a charge which we lock him into. While this does raise his special defense, which is what we normally attack with, I taught Roxas Bulldoze, which I got from the shop in the same city, a physical ground move. Even though Spheal isn't a ground type, the move hits and does a ton of damage, taking the Voltorb down to yellow. He uses another charge due to the Encore, and we kill him with a second Bulldoze the next turn. Austin sends his Ace in, and this is the Pokemon that I've been worrying about. He's super fast, and I have a feeling he will use a status move as we're full HP, so I click Encore. Magneton uses a Supersonic, and it misses. This is perfect as we don't have to worry about confusion just yet, and we get the Encore off. I click Bulldoze, and the Magneton Supersonic hits this time, but luckily we don't hit ourselves, and the Bulldoze takes him down to yellow. One more hit and we win, but it has to hit. I go for it, and the Bulldoze goes through the confusion, and Magneton falls, and we get a big victory using only Roxas. Lucina is smiling from above, as that could have been a completely terrifying battle if we hit ourselves in that confusion. but luckily, we didn't. I go up Route 111 as we get a little break from fighting gym leaders and more fighting Team Magma now, as we find out they're at Mount Chimney. But first, we must start our journey to Meteor Falls. Our Spheals cruise to the routes, avoiding all unnecessary trainers. Most of the required ones are hikers that are weak to Spheals anyway, so I don't really have to worry about them. By the way, if you're liking the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this. Feel free to support me on Patreon as well for extra benefits like your name at the end of my videos. It all really helps out a lot. We pass through Phalabar Town and go straight through the mountains below, battling countless hikers. And finally, we arrive at Meteor Falls where Team Magma have kidnapped a professor. Our rival tells us to help him and we're forced into a double battle alongside him. Things do get a little scary as the enemy coughing decides to self-destruct, but Ari lives at yellow and this leaves his Muddyana all alone. We switch to Roxas and then we kill the Muddyana along with the Numel in the back who's useless to both of our Pokemon. Team Aqua's leader Archie shows up acting like he's a hero somehow, and after speaking to the kidnapped professor, we head right back to the entrance at Mount Chimney. Here we ride the lift up to the top of the mountain to fight Team Magma 2 seconds after we just did. And for whatever reason, the game makes us fight the same exact admin Tabitha that we just fought in the double battle with the same team of the coughing and Numel. His coughing blows up yet again and we demolish the Numel, opening the way to the bridge to the Magma leader, Maxie. He wants to mine a Megastone for a legendary Pokemon and says he'll bury us with his own hands. He really doesn't like us. But while Maxie's team looks a bit annoying, our Spheals have been through much worse. I lead Roxas into his Muddyana and gets swaggered, hitting ourselves in confusion. Our Brian hits the next turn chipping him, but we get hit by a roar right after which forces an Ari. This makes the Muddyana go for another swagger, and just like Roxas, we hit ourselves in confusion right away. The Muddyana hits us with an Assurance, and luckily we don't hit ourselves this time, letting me lock him into it with an Encore. Seeing as Ari's lower health, I don't trust any crits, so I switch to Phoenix, who gets rid of the swagger's confusion. He takes a good amount of damage on switching, and the next turn even more, bringing him down to yellow. But our Brian's been the Muddyana down to yellow as well. The following turn I decide to stay in as my team is getting very weak and just this one Muddyana alone. His Assurance hits us, leaving us at 3 HP, barely losing us another one of our Spheals. Phoenix hits him with the Brian in return, and we finally take out this annoying Muddyana. Maxie sends in Camerupt, and I go to Hertha, who takes a Flame Burst when switching for barely any damage at all. The Camerupt uses an Arse Power next turn, which does way more damage than the Flame Burst, and our Brian brings him down to low yellow. I send in my last full health Pokemon Asterion, and we kill his Camerupt with the Brian after getting hit by 2 Flame Burst. Maxie's last Pokemon Golbat enters, and I go to Roxas, who gets hit by Confuse Ray on switching. The Golbat hits us with a wing attack right after, and Roxas does not hit himself unlike our other Spheals, and even gets a critical hit Aurora Beam, bringing the Golbat all the way down to red. Golbat uses another wing attack, and I get a little scared waiting to see if Roxas hits himself in confusion because of how low he is. But he stays focused again and hits the Golbat with a second Aurora Beam, killing the Golbat and winning us this battle. I'm starting to notice our Spheals are having to work much harder now to win some of these battles, and it isn't going to get any easier for them, but I believe they can do it. We descend down the mountain via the Jagged Pass and enter the Lava Ridge town. The one town I can say my Spheals are very happy to see. Why? Because it contains the first team that has a typing that isn't super effective against our Spheals. It's actually the complete opposite. We enter the sauna and storm through it, making our way to Flannery, the fire-type gym leader. Asterion kills her Slugma with a single brine, setting the tone for this battle. Her Torkoal dies with 2 brines for free as he uses a curse in between, and Flannery's last Pokemon Numel gets eliminated by a single brine as well. Asterion sold this gym with 0 damage, showing what happens when you give the Spheals even a little advantage. Granted, this will probably be the easiest fight in the game, but I can only hope there is something easier that I'm not expecting, as the power level for our enemies only get higher post-Flannery. This is seen immediately as there's nothing to do but head to the next gym leader, who unlike Flannery will be a real test of strength. Norman has a single Vigoroth and 2 whole Slackings. These things are hard-hitting, bulky, and each respectively contain Swagger, Yawn, and Encore, which can make this fight very unpredictable. Unfortunately for Norman, my Spheals have been getting better at abusing the little things that they can control. Norman starts the battle using his first Slacking against Asterion, and we know this is the one with Yawn and Encore because it's level 28 and the other is level 30. Slacking starts off by using a Yawn and we chip him with a Brine. Slacking's Taunt makes him useless next turn, and we stand and use another Brine. Asterion falls asleep, but I gave him a Chesto Berry just for this. Slacking yawns us again as we're now awake, and I shoot another Brine which kills him. One scary Slacking down, another one sits in the back as Vigoroth comes in. He goes for a Retaliate, bringing Asterion down to yellow before getting hit by our Aurora Beam. And we fall asleep to the yawn that Slacking hit us with. With no barrier to wake us up this time, I switch to Roxas for free as Vigoroth uses an Encore into nothing. He retaliates us again, and our Brine brings him down to yellow. Next turn, Norman uses a Hyper Potion, and we lower him down with another Brine. The Vigoroth Encores us, and after 2 Brines, we kill it. Norman sends in his last Slacking, and I switch to Phoenix, who takes big damage from a chip away on switching. I use a Brine during Slacking's Taunt turn, and go to Hertha, who gets hit by a Retaliate on switching and barely lives at 11 HP. I really need to kill this thing before I go down the 4 Spheals, and luckily my Aurora Beam is a critical hit, but he still only lives at half HP. We did get an attack drop on that Aurora Beam, so I get an Ari who gets hit by a Retaliate on switching as well, but still lives at half health. My Aurora Beam hits on the Taunt turn, taking him down to yellow, and I decide that if I want to kill this thing, I need to keep Ari in. 2 hits will definitely wipe him out, I just have to live a single hit from Slacking. I click Brine, but the Slacken swaggers us first, which I forgot he could do. It raises our attack, but we need it to hit. Ari thinks for a second, and then breaks to the confusion, killing Norman's second slacking and win us the battle with no losses once again. We reached the halfway mark with our 5th gym badge, and even though these gym battles are getting tougher, our Spheals are still looking as strong as they did at Roxanne. Wally takes us back to Mauville, where we can finally head east as I can now teach my Spheals Surf, a big power spike for them. The increase from Brine's 65 power to Surf's 90 power should definitely be noticeable in battle, and it also hits both opponents in double battles, making them much easier. We surf across the route, and on the other side we come across Steven once again, and we witness one of the most controversial events across the fan base from what I've seen in modern Pokemon history. Steven takes us to an island, we do a double battle with him against some Magma grunts, and then he gives us a Mega Latios, a legendary Mega right after the 4th gym. Luckily for me, I'm doing a Sphealocke so I don't have to deal with his controversy, and I put the Latios in the box never to be touched again. Unless I need to fly somewhere because Spheals can't fly, so I'll be using Latios for that, but nothing else. We continue up the long Route 119, which is full of grass and many trainers that we avoid. I definitely think that this is one of the most iconic routes of all time though, especially in the original as the scenery is beautiful and it takes us right to the Weather Institute. The Institute is full of magma and our Spheals clean them out one by one, letting us go to the top floor where Tabitha, the second in command of Magma, appears once again. We're thrown into a battle with him and it turns out that he only has a single camera up which dies to a single surf from Asterion, which I try not to laugh at. The Institute is saved and I exit the building, but my joy disappears as I see the next name on our list of trainers that we must fight. I walk across the bridge right outside of the Institute on the same Route 119 and we come face to face with our rival. The last time we fought him, we lost Lucina, and my Spheals are never going to forgive him for that. I'm not scared of this team and neither are the Spheals as we've grown stronger and we're ready to avenge the fallen. I lead Asterion into the same Whalmer that haunted us before, ready to play the long game this time. The Whalmer sets up a mist which means nothing to us, so we get a free Aurora Beam off for some chip damage. I try to encore him into the mist the next turn, but Whalmer moves first and shoots a Water Pulse which locks him into that. The next few turns, Asterion and Whalmer battle to the death with Asterion lowering him with some surfs and getting hit by Water Pulses in return. Both Pokemon eventually fall to red health, and I switch Asterion out to Herta, and to my surprise, Whalmer uses another mist on her switch-in. Thinking I can get a kill, I attack, but the Whalmer uses a rest, resetting all of our progress. Herta spams surfs just like Asterion did, and at yellow, Whalmer rests again. By the time he wakes up, he's already at yellow again, and he goes for a miss instead of another rest, letting us get an attack off, but he barely lives at a single health bar. And instead of doing the obvious thing of click and rest again, he attacks us with a Water Pulse. Herta falls to yellow from it, and then one final surf takes out this very, very annoying Whalmer. There's still 2 more Pokemon to go as our rival Shroomis is back, but luckily he isn't anywhere close to as tanky as Whalmer, so Ari is able to take a Giga Drain on switch-in and lower him to yellow with an Aurora Beam. The second one eliminates the Shroomish, bringing in our rival's final Pokemon Combuskin. I switch to Roxas, who takes a Flame Charge very well with his Stick Bat ability, and 2 surfs eliminate his starter, winning us this battle and getting our revenge. Lucina smiles from above, and we continue on. The entrance to Fortree City is right after the fight, and we go right in and right out to the other side of the city to meet Steven again. He gives us a Demon Scope, allowing us to enter the next gym. The city contains a Flying-type gym led by the gym leader Winona. None of the Pokemon in her team contain any moves that are super effective against us, but she is the first leader to have 4 Pokemon compared to the normal 3 that we've been facing. An extra body can always make things more troublesome, but little does Winona know that my Spheals are ice types, and they love seeing birds flying in the air. She leads with her Swellow, and I start with Phoenix, who gets hit by an aerial ace, and then one-shots the Swellow with a critical hit Aurora Beam. Winona's Altaria comes in and uses an Earthquake, which takes Phoenix down to yellow, and my Aurora Beam looked like it was gonna kill, but she lives on 1 HP. I switch in Roxas while Winona Hyper Potions, and this time my Aurora Beam does one-shot. Skarmory comes in, and I almost let my guard down as 2 Steel Wings leave us at 3 HP, but Roxas uses a rest, healing himself to full, and then waking up immediately with a Chesto Berry. After 2 surfs and dodging a Steel Wing, the Skarmory falls. Winona's final Pokemon Pelipper comes in, and while he's squishy, he has a Protect Roost that makes him quite annoying to kill. He lowers Roxas down to yellow with some aerial aces, but after switching to Herta, we take him down with several Aurora Beams. We get our 5th gym badge in a pretty anticlimactic battle, but that's okay because in my eyes, an anticlimactic victory feels pretty climatic for a team of Spheals. As our level cap is now increased by a good amount, we get to learn Hail and eventually Blizzard, which I think will be an amazing combo of moves that we're definitely going to need later on. Speaking of leveling up, if you ever plan on doing a Sphealocke or anything similar to it, be prepared to spam the B button on literally every evolution attempt the game gives you the moment you reach level 32. We race down Route 120 and make it to Lilycove where we meet our rival again. Despite our past interactions with him, this fight was much easier as Swellow and Breloom both get one shot by Aurora Beam, and Blaziken falls to 2 surfs. The Whalmer, who is now a Werelord, is finally countered with my hidden power Electric I taught Herta, so despite him spamming rest for an eternity, he eventually falls to a critical hidden power. Before doing anything major in the story, I backtrack outside the city and sail down to Route 123 where we cut a tree and head to the Sailor House. After telling him that I prefer Magikarp over Gyarados, he gives us an Eviolite. This item gives any not fully evolved Pokemon increased defense and special defense, and since our Spheals are not becoming Celios at all, it will be very useful to make one Spheal much tankier in every fight. Afterwards, we surf up to Mount Pyre, and on the top there's a gauntlet of Magma Grunts which our Spheals take on bravely, as they each only have a Mightyena and some other weak Pokemon. We witness Maxie steal the Red Orb, and Courtney's lone camera up is defeated in a single surf by Roxas once again. We chase Maxie all the way to Slateport, gets to let him get away, so our 10-year-old self decides to solo invade the Magma hideout to show our anger. We avoid more Magma Grunts than I thought we'd be able to here, and the ones that we run into aren't threats at all as our Spheals are right under the level cap. We make it to the final room where a grunt with a Numel awaits us, along with whatever this is. And the final battle awaiting us here is Courtney. She never learns, I guess. Maxie gets away for the third time in a row, and in my attempt to chase him across the ocean, we end up at Moss Deep City. Here I completely forget about the ship because I see a gym, and without hesitation I walk in and make my way to the leaders Tate and Liza. You may see that they only have 2 Pokemon, Lunatone and Solrock, and think this is going to be a very easy battle. But even though they only have 2 Pokemon, I'm still a little worried of this fight. While both of their Pokemon are weak to water, they are both decently bulky against the average Spheal, and they're both faster than my entire team of Spheals. The Lunatone has Light Screen, which if he gets it up will make the team even bulkier as my moves are all special attacks, and on top of it he has Hypnosis. The Solrock on the other hand has Sunny Day and Solar Beam combo, which will weaken our water moves even more, along with Rock Slide, which is super effective and hits both our Spheals at the same time as it's a double battle. Basically, this fight can be extremely unpredictable, because if I'm put in a bad spot, such as a Light Screen and Sunny Day opener, I might not be able to kill them even with my super effective moves, and they can just steamroll us, especially if they put one of our Pokemon to sleep or we get Rock Slide flinched. I pray to the gods of RNG, and we go into this battle. We send Phoenix and Asterion to the front line against the Solrock and Lunatone duo, and I decide to predict that Solrock will go for Sunny Day and Lunatone will go for any of his 3 status moves. I click Rain Dance on Phoenix and then Encore the Lunatone, and once the Solrock decides to use Solar Beam, a move that does nothing this turn to us, and the Lunatone goes for Light Screen. I'm thankful I didn't take any damage, so the Rain Dance goes up and we Encore the Lunatone into Light Screen. A super effective Solar Beam hits on the Phoenix the next turn, but we immediately see the effects of the Eviolite item as he barely takes any damage, and we rip off a Surf, bringing them both to about half. Asterion gets an Encore off on the Solrock now, forcing him to use Solar Beam again the next turn in this rain. With both of them locked into awful moves, Phoenix and Asterion both use Surf and kill the Lunatone and the Solrock with the overwhelming damage. This fight could have been horrific as Solrock decided to press Rock Slide on turn 1, but our luck prevailed. Remember that ship we ignored in the ocean? It's shooting beams into the sky now, and Steven invites 10-year-old us to his room and explains that we must work with him to save the world. Having no choice, we accept, and we head down to the ocean where the beam came from. We find the ship parked here at the Seafloor Cavern, and we enter. Some Magma Grunts stand in our way as always, but the real challenge for me was this puzzle that I spent longer than I like to admit at the end of the cave. But after we finish it, we descend to the bottom of the ocean cavern where Archie and Maxie are fighting. Maxie begins to lose it, laughing like a maniac and ranting about how he's going to awaken Primal Groudon, and we're quickly thrown into a battle against the leader of Team Magma. He leads his trusty Mightyena against Phoenix and taunts me while Phoenix shoots a Surf despite this lava background, bringing Mightyena down to yellow. The Mightyena uses Embargo next turn, but it doesn't matter as Phoenix executes him with another Surf and Maxie sends in Weezing. I click Surf and my eyes widen as Weezing turns into a nuke and blows himself up, and watch Phoenix's health go down fast, but it stops at 28 HP, saving me from having a breakdown. Crobat comes in after the Weezing turns to dust, and I switch Phoenix out to Roxas, who gets hit by an Acrobatics on switch in. The Crobat uses a mean look which prevents me from switching, meaning I have to kill him no matter what. My Blizzard hits and Crobat lives at red HP. I need to live this next hit or Roxas is gonna be gone. I click Surf and the Crobat hits us with an Acrobatics again, but we live at a healthy 31 HP, letting Roxas take the Crobat out. Maxie's Ace Camera Up finally enters and Mega Evolves, boosting its defense stats to a good amount. But for those of you who ever doubted my Spheals, I'll let you watch as Roxas moves first and the Surf one-shots his Mega Camera Up. Despite that beast looking scary, Spheal is actually faster than Mega Camera Up and we get abuses 4 times weakness to water. The greatest Pokemon of all time, there's nothing else to say. Despite us destroying Maxie in style, he talks as if he's the one who won it and awakens Primal Groudon with the Red Orb. The world is bleached in orange sun, and Steven finally decides he wants to show up and tell us to go to Sootopolis. I surf to Route 126 and dive into what is one of the most iconic cities in the Pokemon history, where we meet the final gym leader of the game. We walk with Steven and him to Maxie and Archie, and for whatever reason, Maxie gives us a special suit that can withstand all heat. Despite him laughing at us 2 seconds ago while he was summoning Groudon, Maxie and the other gang leader Archie are suddenly heroes telling us to go stop what they started. This story is very, very questionable at times. With the suit, we head to the depths of the cave aversion, going deeper and deeper until reaching the lava and meeting Groudon once again. We jump on his back, and I mean, this is a pretty cool part right here, as Groudon brings us to a bright area surrounded by even more lava, showing that he's ready to Mega Evolve. But before I start this battle, you might be asking the obvious. How in the world am I going to kill this thing? Primal Groudon's ability, Desolate Land, is probably the most broken ability in the history of the game, as water moves straight up don't do anything. Groudon isn't weak to ice, and his defenses are way too high to hit him with a move like Hidden Power. I know many people that would call the average Spheal practically useless against what pro players call the best legendary of all time competitively, but I refuse to believe that Spheal is useless. There was no way that Spheal wouldn't be able to conquer anything in its way, even if it is the historic beast that reigned over competitive Pokemon in its time. After looking over everything that Spheal has to offer in a Mega Ruby, I devised a plan. The moment that we defeated Tate and Liza, the level cap raised from 45 to 46. So between them and the last Maxie fight, I had to carefully use my Spheals so they would not go over the level 46 cap before the next gym. And I still have to. But I realized at level 46 that Spheal learns the one move that can make this possible, Sheer Cold. If the move hits, it will one-hit kill Groudon. The downside, it has a 30% chance to hit, so I only have maybe 2 or 3 tries on each Spheal to hit it. I leveled 3 Spheals to 46 and gave him Sheer Cold, while leaving 2 underlevels so I can do the Walls gym if I manage to beat Groudon. With my full gamble strategy, I let Groudon Primal evolve with the orb and send Roxas in against him. I clicked Sheer Cold, and then this happened. We defeat Primal Groudon with a single Sheer Cold, a 30% chance. Believe in your favorite Pokemon, and it will always hit 100% of the time. This is the proof. The sky goes back to normal, and the villains walk away free despite being the reason all this happened, and most importantly, we have one final gym left that's now open to challenge. I surf to the center of the city and do the ice puzzles flawlessly, staring Wallace down in the eyes. Despite the gym being ice-themed, he's actually the water-type gym leader, which is an awkward one to fight for us, as neither of us will probably be able to take each other's Pokemon out fast. But if I'm being honest, I think this benefits us more. I lead Roxas into Wallace's Love Disc and get attracted the very first turn, being immobilized by Love instead of attacking. The Love Disc hits me with the Water Pulse that does literally 5 damage, and while I get immobilized again this turn, I'm in no threat of dying at all if that's the move it's going to use on me. After being immobilized another turn, the Love Disc confuses us, making this even more annoying. The Love Disc uses a Draining Kiss, and let me watch as Roxas breaks through confusion, and then through the Love, and then he hits a Sheer Cold. All these turns I've been spamming Sheer Cold, but was never able to get it out, and I don't know the percentage of him being able to break through all of that and hit it first try, but it has to be pretty low. All his Wish Cast enters, and I go for a Sheer Cold, but it misses, and his Earthquake does way more damage than the Love Disc was doing. I decide to stay in and go for one more Sheer Cold, but this one misses too, and Wish Cast takes us down to a very unhealthy 18 HP. I'm very lucky that wasn't a crit. I switch Roxas out to Ari for free as he misses his Zen Hippo on us, and click Sheer Cold on Ari just like I was doing on Roxas, but this time it hits. Wish Cast falls to the Sheer Cold, and the goat Celio comes in after. Ari uses a Surf onto him, which turns out to be a critical hit, doing decent damage, and Celio encore her into it. 2 surfs later, the Celio lives barely on red HP, and Wallace uses a potion, bringing him back to full health. After several turns of Ari flat out taking every hit that Celio throws at her, we finally take him down with more surfs. Seakin enters, and eventually falls the same way to a lot of surfs, but quicker as he actually sets up the rain for us. Ari ended up at 9 HP dealing with the Seaking, so when his ace Melodic comes in, I switch to Phoenix, who falls to half health from a Hydro Pump on switching. The next turn, Melodic uses an Ice Beam, which does very little damage, and proc my Citrus Berry, but our Surf does no damage as well. The following 10 turns we spend lowering each other until Melodic uses a Recover. Without a better plan, I continue spamming attack moves with Phoenix, and when I get to yellow, our Blizzard freezes her. Using this free time, I switch to Herta and start spamming Surf on her now. The first one hits, and Melodic doesn't thaw out. Next turn, she doesn't thaw out again, and her second Surf hits. The third turn, the same happens. The fourth turn in a row, Melodic doesn't thaw out, letting us hit her again. Surely she will thaw out and recover this turn, right? Nope. My move hits, but she lives on red HP. I click Surf, and to my disbelief, Melodic does not thaw out, and she falls. Right after this battle, I googled the math for how lucky this was, and it was a 26% chance for her to be frozen for 6 turns straight. That's a higher number than it felt like it was in battle, but I'll certainly take it. With our now Ace Gym badge and the world saved, it's time to prove that this challenge can be completed. We start our journey to the Pokemon League. I surf to the east as far as I can and then ascend this giant waterfall, and at the top, Victory Road awaits. I ready my Spheals, and we go into this mountainous cavern to start the final gauntlet of the game. For a team of 5 Spheals, this Victory Road is probably the hardest one you can go into. But it's not because of the abnormal amount of trainers with random fighting type Pokemon. We clear those by being patient. It's also not because of the length of the cavern or the puzzles. I got through it pretty quickly. The reason I'm so worried about this Victory Road is because of this man right here. Wally is the last trainer we must fight to get out of here, and if you played this game before, you know he has an amazing arc where he comes back stronger and makes one final stand. His team is upgraded, and for a Sphealocke, I consider this team just as bad as the champions. Wally's first two Pokemon are an Altaria and a Delcatty with moves like Sing and Charm to disrupt us, but we've seen many Pokemon like this and got this far still. The problem for us is that his next three Pokemon are all straight up counters as Spheal, as they each have the typing and moves that are super effective. Rosalea, while she's weak to ice, is faster with Petal Blizzard and has Toxic and Leech Seed shenanigans. Magneton returns once again, and this one is way stronger than Watson's Ace, as Discharge can do serious damage, and if we make it past all four of this Pokemon, the one I fear the most is his ace, Mega Gallade. As you probably know, Gallade is a fighting type, and Mega Evolved, her base attack is 165, and her speed means she will always move first. This combined with the move Close Combat means she can one-hit kill every single one of my Spheals without me being able to move once. So if I get unlucky and she doesn't use her other moves first, which still do tons of damage, I will wipe. There is one hope for me, unless her Swords Dance, but first we have to actually make it to Gallade. I prepare for this battle the best I can, we walk across this beautiful area to Wally. He greets us, and we begin what might be the hardest fight in the game for us. I lead Roxas into Wally's Altaria and immediately use a Hail while getting hit by a Dragon Pulse. With the Hail up, I shoot her now 100% accurate Blizzard, one-shotting the Altaria after he uses a useless Cotton Guard. Rosalie enters and I know I can't afford to switch right now, so I stay in and I click Blizzard. The Rosalie Toxic us, which I think is fine because my Blizzard hits and one-hit kills her as well, giving us the best start possible so far. Wally sends in his Magneton, who to my absolute luck, screeches us. I taught Roxas Earthquake specifically for this Magneton, and it does its job, bringing Magneton down to his sturdy, and with our Hail up, the Magneton takes lethal damage and falls. Delcatty enters and Roxas is still sitting at a good healthy 87 HP, so after staying in and getting hit by a Disarming Voice which does nothing, Roxas's Blizzard brings her down to red. The Hail stops and Poison brings Roxas down to 50 HP, and with Delcatty so low, this is my one chance to switch to prepare for the nightmare of the run that's about to come in next. Of our 5 Spheals, I send a Asterion in who gets hit by a Feint attack on switch-in for nothing. Takes out the Delcatty with the Surf, and Wallace sends in his final Pokemon, Gallade. Now, I'm gonna Encore and I need Gallade to use Sword Dance. Any other move will probably make us wipe, so I press it, and after Gallade's Mega Evolution, he indeed clicks Sword Dance. We Encore him into it, and now I'm gonna try to use everyone's favorite strategy to kill him before he can attack us. The good old classic Toxic Stalin. Asterion uses a Toxic on him the next turn, and then a Surf which ends up being a crit and brings him down to yellow. The Poison takes him lower, and next turn Gallade maxes his attack out, but it doesn't matter as a final Surf brings him down to red, and the Poison finishes the job. If Asterion didn't clutch it with that crit, we might have lost more Spheals, but he saved the run. Our 5 Spheals walk past Wally and the flowers as they earn their right to challenge the Pokemon League. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. While Wally's fight could have been so much worse, we defeated him by only using 2 of our loyal Spheals. But the next 5 fights will push us and our Spheals to the limit no matter how much of an advantage or disadvantage we have against them. Each one of these Spheals will have to shine and put in the work, and Lucina will have to support us from above all the way. If we mess up even a little bit, the dream will die. But I believe in this team the entire game, and I'm not going to stop now. We walk headfirst into Elite Four and go across the bridge, coming face to face with the first Elite Four, Sydney. While he's a Dark Elite Four user, I'm more concerned about his 2 grass types, Shiftry and Cacturne. They're both able to do tons of damage to any of our Spheals, so we have to play smart. I lead Roxas into the one Pokemon I feel every trainer has had this game, Muddiana. We could Sucker Punch right off the bat, but our Ice Beam brings him down to yellow and freezes him. He does not thought the next turn, so Roxas secures an easy kill and Shiftry comes in next. We get hit by a critical hit Fake Out, and the next turn I keep Roxas in as I believe he can live a Leaf Blade as long as it isn't a crit. The turn starts and he does hit us with a Leaf Blade, and it leaves us at a frightening 28 HP, letting my Ice Beam hit and one hit killing the Shiftry. If it didn't hit, I know I'm saying this a lot, but I probably just would have wiped, as every Spheal I switched into would just take too much damage on their switch in. But now, Sydney's Cacturne comes in the most perfect spot for him, and the worst for us. If I switch into any Spheal and he hits him with a Needle Arm, things can get dicey. I do see that he has Leech Seed and Spiky Shield learned, and I'm starting to notice his AI prefers to use status moves first, so I can only hope he goes for one of those 2. I switch to Ari, and he indeed uses a Needle Arm, bringing us to yellow. But our Citrus Berry heals Ari, so we can safely take one more non-crit Needle Arm. The Cacturne Spiky shields himself, and the next turn my Ice Beam one-shots his Cacturne, bringing in Sharpedo. The battle is still hard as a Crunch brings Ari down to yellow and her Ice Beam brings Sharpedo down to half. I switch to Herta, who also gets hit by a Crunch on her switch-in and procs her Citrus. It heals her just enough so she can take another Crunch and kill her Sharpedo. Sydney's final Pokemon Absol enters, and Herta is too low to do anything, so I need to switch. I go into one of my last 2 fully healthy Spheals, Phoenix, who takes a Night Slash nicely on switch-in. The next turn another Night Slash hits, and it is a critical hit, but Phoenix Wright takes it like a champ, living at 18 HP, letting him bring the Absol down to yellow with an Ice Beam. I know for a fact Sydney is going to use a full restore, so I keep Phoenix in despite his low health, and after the heal I shoot another Ice Beam, bringing the Absol right back down to where he was. Sydney has one last full restore, so I do the same thing, and when he's finally out of potions, I go to our last healthy Spheal, Asterion. After still being extremely healthy after 2 Night Slashes, we take out this Absol with the Surf, winning us our first Elite Four battle. We played that as good as we could, I feel, as every single one of our Spheals put in some type of work, although this is only the start of the Elite Four. The next member is Phoebe, It was 2 Banettes, a Dusclops, and a Dusknoir with Thunder Punch, as well as a Sableye that knew his Power Gem. The Dusknoir and Sableye don't have the same type attack bonus, so they shouldn't be that terrifying, but you never know. I'll lead our trusty Roxas into Phoebe's Dusclops and fire off an Ice Beam right away, taking Dusclops down to half. He throws a confused ray at Roxas, and Roxas chooses not to hit himself, letting another Ice Beam finish off the Dusclops. The Sableye comes onto the field and fake us, and then throws a Power Gem, which actually does nothing. We snap out of confusion and take the Sableye down to red, which forces Phoebe to use her potion. After she uses her last full potion, we get hit by another Power Gem and then get rid of the Sableye. The Ace Dusknoir makes his appearance early, and I keep Roxas in as I'm not scared of him, which turns out to be the right call as he Ice Punches Roxas for a whole 3 damage. Our Ice Beam turns out to be a critical hit, and the next turn Roxas takes the Thunder Punch very well. He gets paralyzed after the hit, but Roxas doesn't care as he shrugs it off, and a second Ice Beam kills this Dusknoir. We are in the Elite Four, and Roxas gets soloed 3 Pokemon. That's my go. The first Banette is forced in, and I go to Herta, who takes decent damage from a Shadow Ball on switch in. The Banette uses a Toxic on Herta, letting her hit a strong Ice Beam in return. The Banette uses a Grudge next, so after I kill her with another Ice Beam, my PP is drained. This doesn't really concern me as Banette number 2 comes in and Herta heal with the Citrus Berry, so after getting hit by a Shadow Ball, she now uses a Surf, bringing this Banette to red. After doing her job, I switch out Herta for Asterion, and he takes this Banette out the following turn, winning us the battle. Phoebe was a lot easier than I thought she would be for my Spheals, as she already becomes an afterthought, as the hallways of the next room should already tell you how tedious this next battle is going to be. Glacia is the Ice-type Elite Four user, and has 5 Pokemon that are pretty bulky for her Spheal standards. This means this battle will probably be like Wallace's, long and chest-like as neither of us can do much damage at a time against each other. Glacia drops this fire line saying all she has seen is weak trainers and their Pokemon, and we start the battle to prove that me and my Spheals are anything but that. I lead Phoenix into one of her 2 Glalis, and the Glalie immediately goes for a hail, but little did Glacia know that I was going to use a rain dance. She sets up a light screen which makes her Surf do less damage even with the rain. The Glalie sets up the hail again, but my Surfs eventually take him down to red, forcing Glacia to use one of her full restores. The next turn after, Phoenix's Surf ends up being a critical hit, doing massive damage and taking Glalie down to red. He throws a Crunch at us which does nothing, and a final Surf takes the Glalie down. Glacia sends in Wall Rain, indicating our Spheals must take out their tribal chief. After taking some damage from a blizzard, I set up the rain again, and the Surf spam begins. 3 turns of Surfs and blizzards later, the Wall Rain finds himself at red HP, but he tells Glacia that he didn't hear any bell yet as he uses her last full restore on him. The fierce battle between Phoenix and Walrein continues with more Surfs and Blizzards being thrown out. Walrein makes it scary by bringing Phoenix down to 17 HP, and in retaliation, Phoenix brings Walrein down to the same. To finish the job, Phoenix tags in Roxas, who ends the long rivalry, and the Spheals take the tribal chief down. But I'm reminded this battle isn't over yet as Frost Slash shows up on the screen. She does the same tactic as Walrein with the Blizzards, but she's so much squishier that she's a joke compared to the Tribal Chief and falls in 2 Surfs. Another Frost Slash comes in and confuses Roxas, and it takes us 3 turns to get a Surf off that makes Frost Slash go down to yellow, while she did little to no damage to Roxas in the meantime. Her next move, Ominous Wind, brings Roxas down to 22 HP, but a second Surf kills this Frost Slash just like the last one. Glacia's final Pokemon, the second Glalie, is sent out, but after switching to Herta and spamming Surfs, it easily dies, winning us the battle. I walk the hall to the final of the Elite Four, and despite knowing it's a Dragon-type user, I'm still on alert. Besides Kendra, Drake's team is fully weak to Ice, which is great for us. The downside is he still has a Salamence and no Thunderfang, and if you know anything about Salamence, it's always useful somehow. You meet Drake face to face, and our Spheals that have come so far just have to make it through him to get to the champion. Like I said many times already, I believe. Hercules against Altaria and tanks a Dragon Pulse well, and then secures a quick one-hit KO with an Ice Beam. Flygon is next and misses his Supersonic, which is perfect as Herta's Ice Beam secures a second one-hit kill, giving us a great opening to this fight. Drake's second Flygon comes in and hits Herta with a Boom Burst that starts doing way more damage than it should, but Herta stays alive at 28 HP despite it being a critical hit. She eats her Citrus Berry and then she gets her third one-hit kill in the second Flygon. Drake's massive Salamence comes in, and unfortunately I cannot one-hit kill this thing with Herta as she'll die before even getting a chance to, so I switch in to Asterion, who immediately falls to half HP from a Dragon Rush on switch in. I decide to stay in as I think I can live one more hit, and Salamence misses his attack, which is even better, letting Asterion get a Toxic off. The next turn we protect for some Poison Chip, and then I switch to the full health Phoenix right. Phoenix goes down to 6-7 health on switch in from a massive hit, which procs his Citrus Berry right away. Seeing as Phoenix is over 100 health now, I keep him in, and Salamence uses another 75% accurate Dragon Rush, which hits. My heart jumps as Phoenix's health goes down extremely fast, but stops at 1 HP. Phoenix clutches the run as his Ice Beam hits and finishes off Salamence, which brings in Drake's last Pokemon, Kingdra. We get Phoenix out of harm's way by switching to Roxas, who lowers Kingdra a bit, and then I switch to Ari due to getting hit by Yawn. Ari uses an Ice Beam which barely doesn't kill the Kingdra and falls asleep due to getting hit by Yawn on switching, but it doesn't matter as it gets switched back in Roxas and my Spheals eventually take out the Kingdra after Drake burned 2 full restores in him. The Elite Four is defeated. Our Spheals have made it to the end of this gauntlet where one last trainer awaits. They have persevered through so many tough fights and close calls, even if they've only been 5 for almost the entire game due to the early loss of Lucina. But as proud as I am of them, they are well informed that in order for the Sphealocke to be complete, they must defeat the champion. It is time I told you that I believe this fight is the true hardest fight in the game. While Wally was a gamble of RNG, that was more luck than difficulty. Champion Steven, on the other hand, is all difficulty with minimal luck. This is his team. The first red flag I see is that he has an Aggron and Armaldo, 2 rock types with high attack despite their weak special defense. After that is a Cradily, which if I don't get rid of quick, can be a nuisance with its Giga Drain and Ancient Power. Skarmory has Toxic, and while Claydol seems like the least of our problems on this team, Metagross is definitely the biggest threat. He's not a rock type, but he's able to do massive damage with all his moves, and to top it off he has a Mega Stone which makes him much more bulky. Bulkiness is what I'm worried the most of this team. Individually these Pokemon aren't that big of a problem, but put them all together and I wonder if my Spheals can handle not being able to kill them all in time before they take too much damage themselves. This is the last battle of the game, so all I need is one Spheal to live. But even that is cutting it very close against a team like this. Despite all the odds, me and the Spheals charge forward for one final battle. Steven, who did absolutely nothing but tell us to save the world, must be defeated. I face him down and tell him that I'll prove that Spheal is the greatest Pokemon of all time. We start the final battle by leading Roxas into Skarmory. The Skarmory sets up Spikes while Roxas sets up Hail. Skarmory tries to Toxic us, but he misses, letting us surf him for free, which takes him down to yellow after the Hail. I switch to Herta to preserve Roxas's Eviolite, and then after getting hit by a Steel Wing, we kill the Skarmory with a Surf. Steven sends in his Aggron, and we get lucky as he misses his Stone Edge, allowing us to hit a massive Surf which breaks the Aggron sturdy. He used a full Restore next, but we hit him with another Surf, breaking the sturdy yet again. And the next turn, Aggron's Stone Edge hits and Herta falls. Her sacrifice allows Ari to come in and avoid another Stone Edge, letting her kill the Aggron, which makes this battle a 4v4 now. Cradily enters and I need to try to kill this fast before we take too much damage. Ari shoots an Ice Beam, bringing Cradily down to yellow, and Cradily uses a massive Giga Drain on Ari, bringing her to a scary red, proccing the Citrus Berry. The good thing is that she lives and is faster, and Cradyli's health is just at the right spot that another Ice Beam does kill her, taking down another one of Steven's Pokemon. Claydol is next and he sets up a Reflect, which is useless into us for now, so our Surf hits and the Claydol immediately melts to 0 HP. It was a critical hit. Armaldo comes onto the field and is faster than Ari, so an X-Scissor sadly takes our second Spheal and this fight out, but both Herta and Ari are the reason we're gaining an upper hand. I send in a Phoenix Wright who tanks the X-Scissor very well, and he procs his Citrus Berry right before hitting Armaldo with a Surf that barely misses the kill. I know Steven is going to go for a full restore, so I set up a Rain Dancer free. And now after tanking another X-Scissor, Phoenix uses a Surf that's not boosted by the rain that secures a one-hit kill on Armaldo, avenging Ari. One more Pokemon to go. The champion, afraid of being dethroned by a team of Spheals, sends in his ace Metagross. He Mega Evolves and uses a Giga Impact on the Phoenix, dropping his health to 0. But it's not for nothing. Down to our last 2 Spheals, I send in Roxas. Due to him using Giga Impact, the Metagross cannot move this turn as he has to recover, so Roxas gets a free Surf on the Metagross, which brings him down to around half. The next turn, Metagross uses another Giga Impact, and the reason I switched Roxas out against the Skarmory earlier pays off as Roxas tanks the hit at 34 HP, and his Surf goes off, leaving the Metagross at red. Metagross has to recover, making this victory guaranteed by pressing Surf one last time. Steven is defeated, and the Sphealocke is complete. The run was very challenging at times, especially after we lost the Spheal so early on in the game. It made planning for mini fights and everything so much harder, but I'm just happy that I was able to prove that Sphealocke can be done with level cups. This is my essay on why I think Spheal is the greatest Pokemon of all time, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and shout out to my supporters on Patreon, and I will see you all in the next one.